and they'll start recording.
Okay.
That's it. And if I happen not to be back when the board meeting's over,
Okay, I'll pull another chair up here.
Oh my god, that's your head. Oh my god, it's my head. Oh, you can see my forehead. That's cute.
oh, yeah, that's how I'm.
I'd like to call to order this meeting of the Mercer County Board of Education. Roll call, please, Mr. King.
Good evening. District 1, Amber Franceschi. Here. District 2, Larry Yeager. Here. District 3, Billy Montgomery. Here. District 4, Cliff Pruitt. Here. District 5, Randy Phillips.
Here. Today's Pledge of Allegiance.
Okay, if everybody will please stand and join us. Ted Carlton will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
One nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much, Kate. Can I please have a motion to approve the agenda?
Make a motion.
Ms. Franceschi makes the motion. May I have a second? Second, Mr. Montgomery, all in favor. Recognitions, Mr. Brewer.
So tonight we've got a lot of recognitions. This is that time of the year when all the hard work pays off and we get to recognize all those that have done a great job in their particular area. So when your name's called, if you'll come up and get your picture taken, we've got your certificate or plaque. And then when this is all over, then there's a spot back in the back here, and we'll take some pictures after we've recognized everybody. First up is we call it the Dairy Queen Superior Titan Award. We've partnered with Dairy Queen because you get a free blizzard. We're doing this, not only that, you get a plaque and then also a sticker for your car, but a Superior Titan Award winner is from each school each month, and they have to have perfect attendance during that month. They have to complete all their homework assignments and tests. They have to have passing grades on everything. No discipline issues. They have to demonstrate good leadership skills and exhibit a winning attitude and spirit towards learning and peers. So we recognize these four. First up is our Mercer County Elementary School Superior Titan Award winner, and that's Casey Howard. Okay, she's ready to be here shortly. Our Mercer County Intermediate School Superior Titan Award winner is Oakley Kennedy. Our Superior Titan Award winner from King Middle School this month is Warren Snyder. While he's coming up, I will bring your all's Dairy Queen Blizzard. I'll come around to your class tomorrow and give your free Blizzard coupon tomorrow. And our Mercer County Senior High School Superior Titan Award winner is Reuben Egbert. Hang on. There you go. We'll wait on it. All right, Casey Howard is our Elementary Superior Titan Award winner. Next up, we've had a lot of exciting announcements here, I guess, or people that excel at what they do, like I said earlier. And first up, we've got a new state championship team. That's the Intermediate School's Future Problem Solving Team. So if you'll come on up, that's their Presley Nolly, Jackson Webb, Kessie, and Jaylee Freeman. They won first place at the Future Problem Solving State Tournament. So again, state champs here. Congratulations. Next up, we have an Envirothon team that will advance to the state competition. That's Kylie Gibson, Casey Robinson, Jace Good, Sydney Putnam, and Aiden Matthews. You all come on. three more of them out here. Sydney received multiple awards at Kuna in March. She was the only student to attend from the high school, no current students participated or received as many awards at Kuna as Sydney has this time. So it's really like a school record. There were over 700 students and more than 35 schools in attendance from across the state. And this was Sydney's first year with Dr. Sexton as well. And she was, how many did you award? I says multiple. How many did you end up winning?
I got outstanding speaker and outstanding pastor. My delegation got outstanding sexo and
Okay, so she got 4 or 5, outstanding speaker and ambassador. Awesome. So 4 or 5 awards at the state Kuna. So congratulations on that. Sitting next, got YMCA Conference on National Affairs. And then also, one other huge announcement is she got accepted into the Gatton Academy at Western Kentucky University for the next 2 years. So she'll be actually living in the dorms at WKU and taking college classes the next 2 years, her junior and senior year of high school. She'll graduate from high school as at least a junior in college. So congratulations, Sydney. Sydney, you left too soon. You got to be more for it. She also got second place in compass and pacing for the 4-H forestry competition. So we have a president-elect for Region 15 FCCLA, and that is Aiden Matthews. As a former high school principal, I always used to like to open that envelope to find out how many governor's scholars we got for each year. And this year, Mercer County, we were able to get 5, and we've got 2 alternates as well, so we may end up getting 7 in. So those 5 governor's scholars for this year, they'll attend this summer, and they get a great scholarship to a state college through going through this program, for the Governor Scholars Program. These 5, Anna Davis, Mason Kirkland, Katie Lewis, Sam Lewis, and Alina Trent. Come on up. These are our 5 governor's scholars. We'll spend a few weeks this summer on a college campus around the state. So again, congratulations to our governor's scholars. Another envelope that's always fun to open as a high school principal is your Governor's School for the Arts and Drama. And we had 2 this year, Presley Boyne and Kylie Mobley. If they would come on up. Great to have 2 going to the arts this summer, and then we got 1 Governor's School for Entrepreneurs, and that's Kate Carlton. And this is just great for the Marshall County Schools to have 5 Governor Scholars with 2 that make it in as well, and 2 Governor School for the Arts and Drama, and then 1 to the Governor School for Entrepreneurs. So again, congratulations to all 8 of those, and good luck this summer at those programs. Bluegrass Region FFA Secretary was named, and it's Emily Chunglo. So Bluegrass FFA Region Speech Contest winner is also Emily Chunglo. Emily, you did a great job at Greece this last weekend as well. No, that wasn't you. Okay. You got somebody that looks real similar. Gear Up Kentucky Summer Academy at Morehead State University, Adriana Polhemus. 4-H forestry competition, first place winner in compass and pacing, Grayson Garrett. Congratulations all on the team. Okay, next up we've got a KEA Teacher of the Month presented by Miss Brittany Hampton.
So my name is Brittany Hampton. I am a special education teacher at Mercer Central in our day treatment program here in Mercer County. I am also the secretary for KEA. Every month we like to honor a teacher. We elect a teacher of the month. And so this month, Heather Sanders from MCIS was selected as teacher of the month. Heather could not be with us tonight. She has twin boys, and so she's at a sporting event and supporting them. But I want to tell you a little bit about Heather. She's a fourth grade teacher at MCIS. She has taught for 18 years, 7 of those being in Mercer County. And so she loves what she does. I actually had the honor of working with her some whenever I was at MCIS, and she is a phenomenal human being. Not only a phenomenal teacher who really cares about not only the well-being of her students, but how much growth that they can make, how they are doing on a daily basis, and how they are maturing as human beings. So I'm very honored tonight to talk about Heather just for a moment. She has her bachelor's degree in elementary education and a master's degree in elementary education with an emphasis as a reading specialist. She volunteers at her local church and enjoys reading books. Heather is a mentor, a friend, and just an excellent teacher all around. And so I'm very honored to honor her tonight. So we will make sure that she gets all of the little goodies that come with this, since she could not join us tonight. But if you could, even though she's not here, please give her a round of applause.
And again, if you haven't taken a picture yet, you're more than welcome to go and stand on the backdrop and get a picture. First, we'll continue on the meeting. Public participation, there's no one to sign up for public participation, so we will move on to our reports. And of course, if you do want to stay for the rest of the meeting after you take the picture, you're more than welcome to, but if not, you can move on. Move on to our finance officer's report.
Our ending general fund cash balance in the month of March was $8.23 million as opposed to $7.31 million last year at the same time. Our overall revenue is up 6% compared to the prior year at the same time. Our receipts received in the year were 5% higher as opposed to last year. And at this point in time, we had received at the end of March 89.3% of the revenue that we budgeted for the year, and we were at 75% through the fiscal year. General fund expenses were up 6% compared to the prior year at the same time. Our expenses in the month of March were $1.67 million, and the district has expended and encumbered 67.1% of the expenses that were budgeted for the year, and that suggests that we will spend less than what was budgeted. Any questions? Thank you.
That looks good, Angela. Thank you very much. Attendance report. Is Esther still on?
So the attendance report tonight, you can see that attachment. You can see that attachment is on there. I wanted to recognize the winner for the monthly. So it looks like the high school barely beat out the middle school for 93.66%. So it looked like a really, no, I'm sorry. No, intermediate barely beat out of high school, 93.81. All of them real close. But our attendance has been really good compared to other school systems in the state of Kentucky, which we're real fortunate. I know a lot of superintendents are worried about this year's the first year since 1819 that we go on this year's attendance numbers. So we're real fortunate to have kids that attend school, and that's very good.
That's a good looking report. Any questions? Personnel report. You know, that's just for all that information. Next will be Jerome Call with our district technology plan. Jerome?
So each year, I submit, as the technology director, a district technology plan, and it can be for up to 3 years. And when I stood here last year, it was kind of, I did a 1-year plan because, to be perfectly honest, I really didn't have a great grasp on our vendors, our contracts, our equipment, etc. I know we talked a little bit about the Chromebook, the Cliff that we were looking at. We've got a great plan that was really district-wide we came up with and spent. So this year, I do have a better understanding of where things are, and there's a lot going on. It's, some of it is out of our hands, and it's state initiatives that we have to follow. And so as we go through this, there's a couple on these that I'm just going to kind of give you the brief version of what the state is doing and how that will impact us, because it does have immediate impact, both positive and negative. So what I've given to you guys and what's up on the screen is kind of the top 10 projects. And I will say right now that the one thing that's not on there is anything about the new elementary school, because that is still in the planning phases. I've done a lot of legwork about figuring out how to get fiber to it. And so, we know a lot of stuff. I just didn't include it on this report until we get a better sense of when that school is going to open, and then I can update it in the appropriate planned year. So if you have any questions, please ask. That's why I'm kind of doing this in a condensed way, because the technology report is kind of dry reading. It's very formulaic, and there's some information on there that's important, but not necessarily crucial to understand what's going on. So first thing, let's see if we can do this. Good job. Hey, it does work. Nice, thank you. Okay, so an ongoing thing that we've already put in motion is replacing all the UPS battery backup units in the district. The tornado that we had come through, I guess that was in January, really laid bare some of our weak areas for keeping technology equipment up and running, in particular the phone system. And as we went around the district and checked on batteries and checked on battery backup units, we realized that we were not going to be able to get away with just buying spare batteries and keeping our system going. It was a kind of a fundamental failure. They're getting outdated. They're starting to not do their job. And I know in this room alone, I've had to field phone calls from people after hours saying, hey, why is this closet beeping and why is the internet not on? And I've had to kind of walk through, okay, press the button on the front of the unit. That was happening a lot. And so this is supposed to fix that. So batteries are not E-rate eligible, so we could not get any discount funding from the federal program if all we bought were batteries. And we were looking at many thousands of dollars worth of batteries. So as I was kind of getting vendors to give me some quotes and looking at actually replacing the units themselves, it became clear that lithium-ion batteries are definitely, they're more expensive, but they're definitely the way to go. We've put in our E-rate request. It's pending. As soon as we get approval for that, and the money amounts are at the bottom of this slide. The lithium-ion gives us over twice the charging cycles, which generally means twice the lifespan. They do come with a 5-year warranty. And for our system, we should get about up to 10 minutes of phone, Wi-Fi, and internet in our wiring closets once power goes completely down. Now, I know that doesn't sound like a very long time, but if we had had 10 minutes to organize ourselves on that day when the power went out at some of the schools and not at the others and at the technology center, that 10 minutes would have been very valuable instead of us trying to get on our cell phones and communicate about, things that were going on. So they have much improved monitoring and remote management, and I know that cost of $56,000. It's a big amount for battery backups that you don't even think about, but our part of it is only about $13,000 because we're eligible for an 85% discount. So that has been requested. Once we get that funding commitment, then we'll order those and get those put into place. There's 27, I didn't put it on the slide, but there's actually 27 units that we've purchased for that reason. So that's the first thing that's already kind of in motion. Any questions? I'm trying to take up too much time here. Number 2, our Chromebook plan that I talked about. We were looking at, by 2026, having to replace 3,000 Chromebooks because we bought so many at the beginning of the pandemic that it's just like the buses that we've had conversations in these meetings. If you buy them all at once, you've got to replace them all at once. So we have come up with a great plan. Amber was a big part of this. Jennifer Patton was a big part of this. There's a lot of whiteboard, done spreadsheets, color coding, that we finally kind of came up with a good plan. And instead of replacing all 3,000 at once, which we really don't need to do, we have a good plan in place that's going to replace 800 as soon as we can order them this year for next school year for 4 grades. And then we have a plan that will sustain by the end of the lifespan of those 3,000 Chromebooks, we will have enough replacements for 3rd grade through 12th grade. And so there's a more elaborate plan that we will outline, but it's a good one, and I think students are going to keep the same Chromebook for its lifespan to increase accountability. We've also made it to where we're going to pull repair fees from the schools up front. And that way, those repair costs that we're trying to recoup now, that's already been accounted for. And if a school goes over that budgeted amount that we've already pulled, well, then the next school year, we end up taking that much money out from the school up front. So there's an incentive to make sure that everybody's on the same page and that we are getting Chromebooks taken, kids are taking good care of them and they're being supervised and we're repairing them and the costs are being put back into the system. Let's see, we talked about that. Right now I've got quotes in at 3 vendors with 2 different models as kind of moving forward. The one I want to get would give us through 2031. So actually we plan for a 5-year lifespan, but if these models, if we can approve these, we would actually have more than that 5-year to deal with. Now they may not last that long, but they would not be end of life until 2031, which would be fantastic. Our plan would work flawlessly with those, and some of them would still have some life left over after that 5-year lifespan. they're a little more expensive, and that's why I'm kind of getting quotes to make sure, and I need to have that discussion, so. And the funding is, we're using ESSER funding, and moving forward, it will come out of Title I funds at 2 of the schools. And like I said, the details of this plan, I would be more than happy to share if it hasn't already been presented by somebody else. But it took a lot of thought. I appreciate everybody's input on that, because it took everybody to figure out how to do it. Okay, I'm sorry. I was sitting there, I was talking, and I didn't even forward it. So that's the Chromebook plan. Number 3, new copier contract, and I think Amber has probably already discussed or is going to discuss. Going to discuss. So I'll kind of go over this very quickly. 5-year contract. It's with a very trusted vendor. The costs are not much more than they have been for the last several years, which is, we were both amazed because we have increased machines, the volume is better, everything is better, but the cost has only gone up a very small amount, which we were very happy to hear. So you'll hear more about that, but that is kind of a big deal. We get new copiers throughout the district. And we still use the paper cut system for management. Any questions? Like I said, Amber will be going over this for the costs. Number 4, fiber installed to the baseball and the softball fields. Now that the fields are completed and being used, we would like, they've always had fiber, but the connection had to be torn up because it ran through the existing baseball field. So we had a very tough choice that had to happen, and that was we had to cut the existing fiber that had been run when the softball field was originally done. But we tried to do it in such a way that was going to make it the easiest to put it back in place, and that's where we are right now. So we're going to run fiber optics for networking to the baseball and softball fields, and then we will decide what we're going to put in the buildings. But we can't put any of the big thing right now is the cameras, the security cameras. Without those fiber connections, we can't really have camera coverage on these brand new facilities, and that's a priority. Now, whether or not we put in phones, that's yet to be seen, or if we want Wi-Fi, but once the hardware is in place, once the fiber is connected, once everything is lit, then we can decide what we want to add to those facilities. Maybe it's nothing. Maybe we decided that we don't need phones. Maybe we decide we don't need Wi-Fi in that area. But the security cameras, that will be the first priority. I've got quotes for that for 6 cameras, and I believe, there's a diagram that the folks at ISS gave me. And I know it's kind of hard to see, but you can see the 2 blue are panorama cameras that would give you 180 degrees of coverage that are on the fields themselves. They would be mounted up kind of above home plate on the press box. And then there would be 4 more cameras that are very directional and specific to cover all the bleacher areas, all the common areas, etc. So it was hard to tell them exactly what we wanted because we didn't know at the time. So this is what they would have done. If they just looked at the blueprints, this is what they came up with. And the quote, they've given us a quote of about $9,600. And they said, if you guys want to take fewer cameras, that's not a problem for us. This is just kind of what we would recommend. So that's the fiber. There's going to be a little bit of digging, but it's not in any of the areas that have already been finished. And we wanted to make sure of that. We put conduit in already, and all we have to do is go from the driveway for the high school, where Jay's put that fence, that horse fence. We just need to get the fiber from there to the edge of the golf shed. And on that diagram, the golf shed would be, well, I guess it's kind of not on that diagram, so never mind. But we will not be digging up any of the work that's been done already. We made sure of that. So any questions about that? Okay. Number 5 is the KIH3 contract. This is the contract that AT&T has held that is the internet provider for the entire state. Every district has used AT&T, including KDE and everything school related. And a lot of people think there's not many choices, but there's another company called ENA that specializes this and has earned the contract for Georgia. And KDE has been working on this, and they actually have approved that ENA is going to take over. And what that means for us is they've got to run fiber into our core technology, our building, my building, the technology office. They've got to run that as if it's never been there, because AT&T owns the old stuff, and they're not about to let share. And so when that happens, the good news is we will have an immediate upgrade to 5 gigabits per second bandwidth. We're at 1 right now, so we get a 5-fold increase. And I don't know if you've seen any articles in the paper about, Kentucky internet is slow and we're behind the times, and they say that you have to have at least 1 megabit per second per student. Well, this puts us at almost 2, and so we would be well above the standard, and it opens up some possibilities for some cloud-based things that we've kind of held back on. No cost to the district. The equipment is going to be purchased by the state. They're going to come in and install it. It's by July 1st for sure, because that's when AT&T's contract completely ends. I've been told that February of 2024 is kind of our target. So we can't, we can't promise you that, but in the timeline, that's probably about when we change over. Now, that's all the good part. Here's the bad part. The bad part is we currently get our phone service for the entire district through AT&T. And we get it through our KenRack, which means our phones go through the internet. Okay? Well, obviously AT&T is not really going to be too keen to continue that the way it's being done already, because they're no longer on the contract. Now I've called them and they've said, sure, we'll keep doing it. We'll keep our existing fiber, we'll light it up, we'll put new equipment in for about $180 more per month. So that's our fallback plan. If there's another option that everybody keeps saying, ENA has its own option, just be patient, we'll get the details. But I don't like to wait, so I wanted to make sure we had something in place if that doesn't come to light. And then, so our option would be, yeah, we can continue with AT&T, but we can't do it the way we currently do it. We would basically have our internet connection through a company called ENA, and then we'd have a separate fiber that's the current that goes straight to AT&T, and they give us what's called a hosted voice solution. So $180 per month is not horrible, but I would like to see what we can get closer to the price we've been paying from ENA. The other thing that I don't want to talk too much about is we still have 18 analog phone lines, that they're old-fashioned copper phone lines that we've had to keep for fire alarms, elevators. There's one fax that we can probably get rid of, but we can't use internet phone for that. Fire code does not allow that. So I've been working with a company called Granite, because not only is AT&T not going to be our internet service provider, they're no longer going to honor our copper lines. They're going to jack the price up to $600 per line, up from $30 now, and they're not going to support them. They say if they break, we're not going to fix them. So we've got to come up with some better solution for our fire alarms and our elevator. I've put in a call with the local fire. Well, it's not Logan, because Logan Steele's retired. He's a former student, and that shouldn't be allowed. My former student shouldn't be able to retire before I do. But they're working on what is the code and how many phone lines. Do we really need 2 phone lines like we do now, a primary and a backup, if we go with this solution from Granite? Because it uses internet phone as its primary, and then Verizon and T-Mobile cellular coverage as its fallback. And I'm hoping that that'll count as our 2, so we may be able to drop the price down to less than we're paying now. But that's something that's got to be done, and it's a lot of phone calls. And a lot of people that don't have any idea what I'm talking about when I'm trying to explain what's going on, why we're kind of facing a time crunch. All right. So that's the IP phone service, the analog phones at the bottom. Cloud-based security cameras, we are trying to get away from each school being on its own camera server to where it'll be a district solution, where all the cameras will connect to a cloud system, and then people who need access to certain cameras, we can set up user profiles to be able to do so. And the big example I can give of that is right now, our transportation director has to log into 2 separate schools to be able to see his buses. And that's just because of the way his building is located in a place that's fed to the high school, but his bus garage feeds to King Middle School. And so in order to get those cameras in place, he has to be able to look at both of those sets of servers can't look at all of it at once. So we're looking at a solution. Our current company, ISS, is a partner with Motorola, and they have a system called AVA. And the big advantage of that is we can keep using our existing cameras, and then as we need to replace them, we buy Motorola cameras that have the recording built into the camera itself. And eventually we can get away from having any district level equipment, and it would all just feed up to the cloud. And so you're going to notice a trend here of moving toward cloud-based everything, because that's just the way things are moving. There's a competitor, and it's a fantastic system. It has vape detectors, it has all kinds of stuff, but you have to buy their cameras, and their cameras will not work with any other system. So if we ever decided to switch to a different service provider, their cameras wouldn't work, and so it would be a huge waste of money. So that's I think I put a timeline of trying to have this up and running by 2024, so next summer. We've already been talking with them, I've already been putting quotes together, but it's just very slow trying to get it actually up and running. Don't know the cost yet because we haven't been able to really nail down exactly what we need, but I think we're getting a lot closer to that. So that one is a project, an initiative, but I don't have the money, the numbers yet. All right, this one kind of makes me a little nervous as well. So I was talking about, we use AT&T as our internet phone provider. Well, the actual equipment and all the extension assignment and all the management is this thing called Avaya IP Office. And we have what's called an on-premises system. It's kind of old, it was kind of cutting edge at the time when we installed it. But now Avaya has filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy. And even though they say they're going to continue supporting this because this is one of their flagship products, that could change. And I don't want to be caught in a situation where all of a sudden we don't have a phone system. And so there are some other vendors, and Avaya actually offers another cloud-based system that I want to have in place, or I'd like to have ready, because it just makes me nervous that Avaya is, they were debt restructuring. So the company is still solid, but they had to reschedule their debt. And so that's something that I think I put a timeline by July 2025. Yeah. And our current contract expires in 2026. So, hopefully we can find a solution that our current service provider would still be under contract. So, yeah, that was not a good day when I got the news about the IP Office thing. All right, almost done here. Our wireless system was purchased back in 2019 and installed in 2020. They come with a 5-year warranty. So as you can see, as of July 1st of 2025, all of the access points in our district, as well as the 2 wireless servers, are all going to be no longer under warranty, and they're already starting to kind of show their age. So luckily this is E-rate eligible. So even though the cost is a big number, $250,000, we would only be paying 15% of that. And so we kind of need to start looking in, and that also coincides with the new elementary school. So I'd kind of like to have the new system in place in the new school as we change the district over to that same system, whatever that happens to be. And I think the printout, I put 300 plus APs. We actually have 262. So I updated this slide, but that's still a lot of access points all around the district, and every one of them is going to be 5 years old in 2025. Okay, and finally, this is something the state has come out with, and that is right now our staff has to manage 2 different accounts. There's a Microsoft account, there's a Google account. Some things they do on a daily basis require one login, some things are another. The state recognizes that is a horrible way, and we get phone calls all the time. The password doesn't work anymore, or why can't I get into the copiers, or why can't I connect my phone? So the state is looking at putting out an RFP, to get what's called a unified single ID authority. And I think this one, I put a picture, and I think this is going to explain it the best. This thing they're calling CUES, which is user identity provisioning. Everything, Infinite Campus, Munis, everything we use that's cloud-based would go to it to authenticate. And so a user would have to maybe memorize one password, and even better, probably use biometrics instead. And so you go to the copier, you scan your badge, it's connecting to that system and saying, okay, I know who you are, you're good to go. And right now, you know, Infinite Campus goes to Google, Munis goes to Microsoft Active Directory, Clever uses Infinite Campus and Google, so it's a mess. It's a mess that needs to be sorted out, and they're talking about probably by 2025, they want to have a vendor in place, and we'll slowly start to incorporate this across. So, all right, sorry about that, that was a lot of stuff, but there's a lot going on, and some of it is not for a couple of years, but at this plan, I need to look about 3 years out, and these are all the things that we're looking at for 3 years. Any questions?
Don't know if to ask questions.
Yeah, that was me last year. Yeah, so, but now I know, and I wish I
Say,
could.
Jerome, those old POTS lines are pretty expensive to maintain, aren't they?
Well, the big thing is the FCC has ruled that these big companies no longer have to service.
Right.
They're letting them just basically fall by the wayside. And so that's the situation with AT&T, is they don't even want to provide, they don't want to have any service. They say, yeah, if it works, great, we're going to charge you this much. If it doesn't work anymore, sorry about your luck. It's just so, yeah. And $600 for a landline, can you imagine? They're trying to price themselves out, is what they're doing. They're figuring nobody in the right mind.
Technology's become obsolete for them anymore since.
It has. But code still requires fire alarms and things to have a very secure copper connection. But luckily those codes are changing, and I think the solution that we're looking at, maybe about $50 per month per line instead of $600. So, did you have a question?
No, it's a sad situation with AT&T.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I will comment on the SSO. The hospital system that I work for just recently moved to an SSO.
Mhm.
Oh, that's-
And it's incredible.
Yeah, we use them,
It's great.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I mean, we already have a lot of single sign-on situations, and we've been moving toward that. The problem is not all of the things we're using are using the same authentication. So yeah, you know, like I said, Infinite Campus, it's checking against Google, and that's been wonderful. Teachers just click on that. But there's also the equal number that are still pulling from our Active Directory, which is Microsoft. And trying to explain that, it's so frustrating.
well, and we had to move away from Microsoft.
Yeah.
So we're with Google Suites now.
Interesting.
And it's all authenticated through, I think it's called Okta,
Yeah,
is what it's authenticated through.
and we use that in Hitachi too. It's
Okay.
global, It's global, so.
Yeah.
I just wanted to just put my input in there that it is really great, so.
Yeah.
That will be a good thing.
It's definitely the direction everything is
Very
heading.
happy about that, I think.
Yeah, I hope so, because I don't mind explaining it to them, but I know it's frustrating when we have teachers that haven't logged into a Microsoft computer literally in 2 years. So they don't remember their password. I wouldn't expect them to, you know, so. All right. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Jerome. Superintendent's report, Mr. Fuller.
So I've got a couple of things to add. I know we had a lot of recognitions already, but again, we're super proud of our students and all they've accomplished. And tonight, I guess, all those recognitions kind of shows their hard work paying off. And it shows that the education they get here in Mercer County is very good. And they can accomplish great things that they'd like to while they're here as a student. And again, we're proud of each and every one of them. We got prom this weekend, and it's outside on Main Street. I know it's been cool this week so far, and I think it's going to be cool a little bit through the weekend. So, but the prom is on Main Street. It's really beautiful. It was beautiful there last year, and I'm sure it'll be again this year. Academic-wise, I think we were the first school system in the state to adopt the Seal of Arts Excellence Award from KDE in the state last year, and now is informed by our counseling department at the high school that we've got our first Seal of Arts Excellent Award recipient. So she'll graduate and she'll get a cord and a couple of other things to go along with special recognition for that. We've got our ACT 30 Plus Club. I know I was waiting on the last ACT test to be given a week or two ago, so we're waiting about 2 weeks to see those scores come in, but I know we'll take those out to eat and of course give them a t-shirt and for making the ACT 30 Plus Club. That's coming up. KSA state testing starts next week, and at the end of next week, so I know we're looking forward to that, all our schools are. And the arts, I got a chance to attend Friday night's Grease play that our performing arts put on, and I know they put it on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and did a tremendous job. So hats off to them. Miss Ashford and the middle school band, congratulations to them for their unanimous distinguished rating they received at KBA. So again, congratulations to Miss Ashford and her band crew. And in athletics, we had a first in archery. In the state of Kentucky, archery is much like basketball, baseball, softball. Everybody's competing for one trophy, so it's not divvied up into class systems. And our archery team went to Bowling Green in the state and came in 4th, so they got it in the KHSA archery meet. So they got a huge trophy for that, and I know, so congratulations to them. I'm sure we'll have them in probably next board meeting to recognize them. And then our KNS middle school softball team went to the middle school state tournament, and they are state champs. So we got another state championship. So we're looking forward to seeing those girls grow into great high school players, and hopefully they can bring us a state championship home when they get to high school as well. Track, I don't know if you've been keeping up with Twitter, it seems like a stock ticker comes on Twitter about how many school records they've already broken this year. So we're really looking forward to how well our boys and girls track teams do again this year at the end of May at the state track meet and in the region. So we wish them the best of luck as well. Like I said, they've broken many personal records and school records already this year. They're going to try to defend both state championships in May. So that's all I got.
Ready? Questions? I want to echo, I went and saw the Grease musical on Saturday. The kids did a good job. Appreciate all their hard work. Consent agenda items. Assume everybody's had a chance to look at those items beforehand. Is there anything you need to discuss in the consent agenda? Anything that needs to be discussed?
I like the change in the start times.
Yes.
Helps teachers become more efficient while they're here, and I guess removing even one bell. And what was it, high school or
Middle school will be down to
middle school?
Yeah. High school is already 1, and the elementary and intermediate will be going from 3 bells, plus dismissal bells is what we're talking about, to 2. We'll carry that forward to the new elementary school and make sure we design enough bus spaces at the new elementary school to still do 2. What stop times does and the bell schedule, it gets teachers not having to do bus duty as long in the afternoons, by about 10 minutes a day. And then it staggers your start times in the beginning. So the high school and the middle school will be 8 o'clock. Elementary and intermediate will be 8:05. So that gives parents that have dual, some have 3 different schools they got to go to. That'll give them a little time, 5 minutes to get to, throughout the different schools that they need to drop the kids off of. So high school, middle school will be 8 to 2:45 next year. The proposal is the intermediate elementary will be 8:05 to 2:50 next year.
Also noticed too, the listing of the school fees for next year, and that's just a breakdown of what they would cost, but if I saw correctly, there will not be school fees for parents.
Yeah, our community and parents have been fortunate enough. I wish I had this one. If my 2 kids went through, because I paid fees each year, but our parents for, I think it's the 3rd year now, will be able to get 1 more year of not having to pay any fees because we're able to supplement ESSER funds for those fees. So this will be the last year because ESSER runs out after next summer's over. And so this will be the last one that all parents will be able to enjoy not having any student fees come out this week.
Any other questions about the consent agenda discussion? Okay. If nothing else, can I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
I'll make a motion.
Mr. Pruitt makes the motion. May I have a second, please?
Second.
Mr. Montgomery, second. All in favor? Okay. Next will be action item for discussion. The first reading of the personal day. Chantel, you got that?
As I'm sure you're all aware, that we've been working on retention and recruitment, and we've had staffing issues for the past several years. So when evaluating our competition with other districts, we have noticed that many districts are offering 3 personal days. We look at our policy, and currently we offer 2. So I would like to propose that we change that to offer 3 personal days instead of the 2, effective July 1st.
And I'll add to that, every school system I've worked in is 10 sick days, 3 personal days. Mercer has had, I don't know for how long, but 10 sick days, 2 personal. A lot of school districts, most school districts do the 10 and 3. So we're just making sure somebody can't recruit over top of us using that 1 extra personal days and then send it to work somewhere else as opposed to here. So we'd like to give all of our employees the same, as many, what most school districts are around the state, do 10 sick days, 3 personal days instead of 2. There's no cost to the district unless someone takes a personal day, then that's that sub-cost, the substitute teacher, so it's for each one that's taken.
And this is the first reading, so.
Yeah, that's just
second
first
reading.
reading. It'll be a May.
Next meeting, and then we can vote.
Right. Any questions? Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, we have several action items for roll call vote. First up, the school calendar.
So as part of the end of the year, we've banked some time by going those extra minutes each day in the school day. So in order to plan for next year, by doing school, some pacing guides, curriculum, work, we need a work day with our teachers. So what we're proposing is instead of going through Wednesday, use a bank day on Wednesday and do an early release on Tuesday. So kids will get out at 12:45 on Tuesday, and then we would have all the staff, the certified staff in the auditorium at 2 o'clock, the second half of the day. And at 2 o'clock, we would speak to them about the plans for the work day, which is on Wednesday, the following day. And they would work on academics, curriculums, lesson plans, assessments, curriculum guides, pacing guides. So that's what we're proposing, is to do that so we can be prepared for next year. And again, you all saw back in the consent items that proposed start and stop times, we banked a lot of days this year. We used no NTI days. We may be one of the only schools in the state of Kentucky that used no NTI days, which I'm really proud of, because for many years during the COVID day, everybody said that in-person learning is what's best for kids, and I truly believe that. And I know a lot of school districts take NTI days, but that goes against what we said all through the pandemic, is in-person learning is what's best for kids. So we didn't take any NTI days. Our kids have had all instruction in person this year, which I'm proud of. And this will give a day at the end to allow us to work on next year's curriculum coming up. And like I said, we went many days over with the banked hours that we've done with the kids. So that's what this end of the year proposal is. Thursday, May 25th will be closing day for teachers. Friday will be off, and then high school graduation is at 2 o'clock in the gym on Saturday.
I have a question, since we're talking about calendar. I was approached here a couple of weeks ago about, I think they must have been, and I didn't have a calendar to where I could take a look at it, and I haven't taken a look at it since then either. I think they were talking about next year, Christmas, being out during Christmas time, that it was, the way the calendar was set up, it was just going to be like a week or something like that with the way the holidays hit. Is that the way that's going to be, or I don't know, I haven't.
I do think the calendar committee, with the calendar that was presented, we may get out on, I can't remember, it's a shorter time from when we dismiss until Christmas, but they were longer. Our time frame's about the same. So I do think it is a little bit of a difference in the way the holiday, when the holiday fell for the next school year. But time, the number of days isn't much different at all.
I've got it pulled up here. The goal during Christmas break usually is to get 2 weekends in instead of 1. So there is 2 weekends in there. Christmas falls on a Monday. So instead of taking that whole week before that off, but January 1st is on a Monday as well. And you've got to do a holiday. So we'll go to school Monday, Tuesday, that's the 18th, 19th, do a half a day on the 20th. That's on Wednesday. And then you come back in on Wednesday, the 3rd. So you're still getting 2 weeks plus 2 weekends. So it's the exact same number of days, 13 days.
I didn't really know enough about it at the time because I hadn't looked at the calendar recently to really know what to tell them. And I told them, I said, well, I'll check on it and see. I just have to think about it.
Usually the goal is to have 2 weeks off during Christmas with 2 weekends in there. We got that calendar set.
Thanks.
I do need a motion
Oh, yeah,
to approve that one.
We're getting through it right now. Okay, if no further questions, can I have a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Mrs. Franceschi makes a motion, can I have a second? Mr. Yeager, second, roll call, sir.
District 1, Amber Franceschi.
Yes.
District 2, Larry Yeager.
Yes.
District 3, Billy Montgomery.
Yes.
District 4, Cliff Pruitt.
Yes.
District 5, Randy Phillips.
Yes. Up next, banking services and pledge of collateral.
Okay, so the last time that we actually put a bank bid out was January of 2020. And we opened those in March of 2020, and we were very thankful that Farmers Bank, who we were banking with at the time, was able to respond to that because it was very trying times. That's right when COVID hit and no one really knew what was going on in the world. So that's the last time that we actually bid out our banking services. So we decided to go ahead and do that again. This is the first time since Mr. Boer has been here that we went ahead and bid out banking services and a few other things that you're going to see tonight. And so you'll see attached to this the actual responses. We had 2 banks that responded on March 24th, Farmers National Bank and Whitaker Bank. And then their actual proposals are attached. And then there are some sheets there just to kind of give you some information on how that actually looks in some proposed instances as far as what the interest would look like. So you can see a couple of pages there. One is specifically for Farmers, one is specifically for Whitaker because their answers were just a little bit different. They're both variable rates based on the federal funds high rate. And Whitaker Bank actually has a compensating balance that we have to keep of $1 million. So we take that off of what our bank balance is in order to calculate that interest. Farmers Bank does not have a compensating balance, but they also have a cap at 2%. So you can kind of just see, I mean, they're very comparable to one another. We've been very happy with Farmers. We also sit down with Whitaker to see what their online banking system would look like because that was kind of one of my bigger concerns with even potentially switching banks was what does that look like? How are we going to process a payroll? All of that kind of stuff. So thankfully the software is very similar between the 2 banking systems there. So that was not as much of a concern once I actually sat down with that. So do you all have any questions on what's in front of you? You all have had the information to review for, a few days now, so.
What is your recommendation?
Well, if you look at the spreadsheet that she put together, because you do have to consider it's a variable rate. So when you look at that spreadsheet, if you take the rates right now, or if they stay the same or go up, then Whitaker Bank is the better bid. If rates over the next, and remember, you can bid out the bank bids each calendar year. So, some school systems do that, some do it every 3 years. Just depends on what the school system we're talking about. But if rates go down, then you can see by the grid and the spreadsheet there, if they go down, then Farmers would be the better. So you're asking me a recommendation. I always go on what rates are right now. you know, I don't like to play the if game. So, right now, if you look at it on paper, Whitaker is the better bid.
The current federal funds high rate that we would be going off of for this current month would be 4.83% as of right now.
So you're not the Fed chief, nothing.
Lower some rates up. I know that ties to inflation, those interest rates are up, and they have to try to get that under control. So I don't know if rates will go down in the next year because of inflation.
I don't think they're going down. I don't think they'll go down. Well,
In this scenario, interest rates being higher are great. For our bonding, we want them to go down, so, it's a switch up.
I'm just the kind of person who plays it safe, so I would agree with what Jason's saying. It's because we just can't predict what it's gonna look like later.
And you said we can do this every year?
Yeah, I mean, some school systems do it every year. I can see finance directors, that's what they do right there. Because if you
I
have
might
to change.
age about 15 years between the next
How about
couple of
every 6
years, but it's all
months?
good. It is a lot of work switching everything over. That was one of my concerns as well. Are we capable of switching? Obviously, there are districts that do it sometimes every year. There are districts that do it every 3 years. So as far as what we would gain one way or the other, I feel like we're kind of in, as far as the services and that kind of thing. I mean, we've been very pleased with our service from farmers. Since I've been here as finance officer, we've not banked with Whitaker. Now, when I worked here years ago, we were with Whitaker, and I know that they were very pleased with those services as well. I'm very appreciative for both of you all bidding and coming and answering all of the questions I've had over the last few weeks, just making sure that we fully understand the two different scenarios and what those look like. So,
Further questions?
So your recommendation?
Okay, can I please have a motion for approval of banking services and pledge of collateral naming Whitaker Bank as the district banking institution as of July 1st, 2023?
I'll make that motion.
Okay, Mr. Montgomery makes the motion. May I have a second? Second. Mr. Yeager, second. Can we have a roll call, sir?
District 1, Amber Franceschi.
Yes.
District 2, Larry Yeager.
Yes.
District 3, Billy Montgomery.
Yes.
District 4, Cliff Pruitt.
Yes.
District 5, Randy Phillips.
Yes. Get second offer of assistance.
okay, sorry, I just stayed up here. So the second offer of assistance has come in. These are funds that you all have already set aside. There is a match component to it. This is for technology services in the district. So this is a pot of money that will we will also be taking a piece of it to help once ESSER is no longer, to help with some of those student Chromebooks. They also typically help with staff Chromebooks out of these funds. It's already in the budget to match this. You've already matched the first offer. So the second offer is $22,942. It must be matched equally, or it can be escrowed for up to 3 years. The recommendation is to go ahead and accept it.
Do you have any questions or discussion? Okay, if not, can we have a motion?
I'll
to
make the
accept
motion,
offer?
please.
Mr. Pruitt with the motion, can I have a second? Second. Mr. Yeager, second. Can we get a roll call, sir?
District 1, Amber Franceschi.
Yes.
District 2, Larry Yeager.
Yes.
District 3, Billy Montgomery.
Yes.
District 4, Cliff Pruitt.
Yes.
District 5, Randy Phillips.
Yes. And next, MCIS cafeteria, Mr. Minor. It's been a while.
I get to do the fun stuff now. In front of you all, I've laid a design out that we have for MCIS's cafeteria. We have really good success with doing King Middles. There's been quite a few publications written about that particular cafeteria. I'm quite proud of that. You all were a huge part of that when we were in there. This RFP is just for that design alone. Of course, I want you all to pass that. If you want to look through those designs, there are always room to move things around and change some things. One big thing is it makes it ADA compliant, which has to be done now. So why not do that and get them new tables? Number two, it comes out of Fund 51 or Food Service Fund. None of this comes out of general fund. So they get a new cafeteria, I don't pay anything for it out of general fund, say that. And as going back with King Middle's cafeteria, it raised our breakfast participation there by 13.5%, some right around that number, and then it raised our lunch by 33%. And that was taking it pre-COVID. I did not do the COVID years because things were completely different. Comparing it to last year and to half of this year, our numbers are way up in their participation, which is awesome with our school district saying that we're a complete full CEP school district. More participation with the kids, the more chances I get to offer this kind of things to them. With the work from my staff, that's going to allow us to do this. Like I said, none of that comes out of general fund. It will all come out of food service fund on that part. And what I'm hoping to do is have it ready to go by start of school, the 23, 24 school year. So have most of the work done over the summer. Do you have any questions?
Does this affect capacity at all?
No, it actually adds capacity to their cafeteria when it comes to actual seating of students.
Well, I was gonna ask about that. I was looking at one of your renderings on page 4, and I noticed you've got some tables with seats and some tables with benches.
They're all going to be seat style.
Okay, I was gonna ask
Like,
about
this was the very first that came out. So I put the new logos, the new Shield logos and things like that. We can always refer back to the logos with the titles to it. Those things are easily changeable. It's the tables that aren't. So it's the designs on the tables, and then going from the bench style to the pod style, which I've already talked to the manufacturer about doing that, because that was already brought up.
I like the individual seats themselves.
Right.
They will be the seats out.
They would be the pods, yes. They would be the actual round stools that are on them. And again, I ask you all to approve this. And just like the last time with KMSs, I will bring it to you all once a month, just to make sure there was no other changes or things that you all heard through the community that they would like to see in there.
The kids like the individualized seating better. Have you had any feedback about that?
There at King Middle School?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Because we, not only is it individualized, they're pod style, so
Right.
there's 4, and then there may be a high top beside it that's 4, and then another one beside it. Even though there's 12 sitting there, they're in different areas. So it brings that, and that was one part of the mental health issue with that, is getting them. Some kids can't take big groups, but when you can put them in pods like that, it's a lot easier for them to be able to be in with bigger groups and not feel so,
Right.
or now when it comes to the elementary school, of course, safety in that they're going to be more in rows with groups with their classrooms.
I just wondered about the feedback. I have a middle schooler, 8th grader right now, and she loves it.
They seem to really enjoy it, so.
Yeah.
This looks really good.
Yes, it does.
And I know Mr. Boo, I showed him the glass on there, he brought up the thing, it is all school safety. Like, we would pull the tent that's on there off, but this is another company that's making those that also does school safety, so it'll look like a mirror, you can't see through it, but the kids will have a design inside of it.
Okay, any further questions, discussion? If none, can I please have a motion for approval?
I'll make a motion.
Mr. Pruitt makes the motion, may I have a second? Mr. Montgomery, second.
District 1, Amber Franceschi.
Yes.
District 2, Larry Yeager. District 3, Billy Montgomery.
Yes.
District 4, Cliff Pruitt.
Yes.
District 5, Randy Phillips.
Yes.
Thank you all.
Thank you, sir. Audit contract, Amber?
Okay, we also put our audit out to bid this time. Again, this is the first time since Mr. Bear's here as superintendent. We have actually been with White & Company out of Lebanon for quite a few years. Thankfully, they continue to bid us. We have a lot of school districts around us that are having a hard time finding any auditors to bid their jobs. There are not as many auditors that actually audit school districts any longer. So we're very thankful that we have any. The only one that did respond to our bid was the current auditor, White and Company. The cost that we've paid for the last 6 years has been $18,300 per year for audit. They did increase their price for the next 3 years, but they'll lock it in for a 3-year term per year of $19,575, which honestly I didn't think was a huge increase for the services that we gain. We've always been very pleased with their work. They're great to work for and with. What I like about it is that we have switched our main auditor up. Because when I came as finance officer, you know, my main concern is, especially because I'm new to the district, is I want a clean audit, of course, but I want them to really delve into it and look and make sure if there are any issues that we can fix those issues and that kind of thing. So we did have one main auditor when I first came here, our lead auditor, and they swapped it to another one. And that will still be the same one because they've also had some turnover in their office. But I feel like, she definitely nitpicks our stuff, and that's what I want. I want it to be correct. So I feel very confident moving forward with them and that we get a good audit from them.
I think they keep bidding because you make it easy on them.
They're easy to work with, I will say that. They actually had to downsize. They had 12 school districts last year, and they've downsized to only auditing 3 moving forward. And we were one of the ones that they hoped to keep. Because we do work well together. I mean, they know our district, we know them, the timelines work out and all of that good stuff.
Okay. Questions or discussion? If not, can I have a motion for approval of White & Company, PSC, as the audit firm for Mercer County Schools and the annual amount of $19,575?
I'll make that motion.
Mr. Yeager makes the motion. Can I have a second, please?
I'll second.
Mrs. Franceschi, second. Roll call, sir.
District 1, Amber Franceschi.
Yes.
District 2, Larry Yeager. District 3, Bill Montgomery.
Yes.
District 4, Cliff Pruitt.
Yes.
District 5, Randy Phillips.
Yes. Next, 2022-23 salary schedule update.
So the only thing that's added on there, I did attach the whole full-blown salary schedule, is making a modification to what we pay for classified homebound. So these are typically instructional assistants. Some of them are secretaries in the building. Just trying to gain enough people that actually can do homebound services through the remainder of the year and compensating them the same per hour as what the certified would get because they're doing the same amount of work.
Questions? Okay. If not, can I have a motion for approval?
Make it motion.
Mr. Montgomery, motion. Can I have a second?
Second.
Mr. Yeager, second. Roll call, sir.
District 1, Amber Franceschi.
Yes.
District 2, Larry Yeager. District 3, Bill Montgomery.
Yes.
District 4, Cliff Pruitt.
Yes.
District 5, Randy Phillips.
Yes. Leaves. Chantel, you have.
So you should have for board view only 3 leaves in front of you, and the first 2 are intermittent leaves only. And so they will be out through June 30th, on and off. And the last one is just an extension of a maternity leave through the end of the school year. You can vote on all 3 of them at once or pull any one out if you need to.
I would make a motion to
Here's
approve all
all
3.
again. Okay. Then can I get a motion for approval of all 3?
I'll make it.
Okay, Mr. Pruitt with the motion. Can I have a second?
Second.
Mr. Yeager, second. Roll call.
District 1, Amber Franceschi.
Yes.
District 2, Larry Yeager.
Yes.
District 3, Bill Montgomery.
Yes.
District 4, Cliff Pruitt.
Yes.
District 5, Randy Phillips.
Yes.
Thank you.
Copier contract.
I'm back again, sorry. I know, so yes, Jerome and I have talked endlessly along with our principals to our current vendor, Toshiba, about what we currently have in our district and what our needs would be coming up, what our usage looks like, and so then therefore what that calls for moving forward. Just like Jerome spoke about earlier, We were very shocked to see that it was a very minimal increase, less than $100 increase per month for better quality machines. It does spread us out to a 5-year contract. We've been on a 3-year contract. So that's probably how they're keeping that pricing in line, if I had to guess. But we did also, you'll see another proposal there from ProSource as well, who can provide the same types of machines, Toshiba machines, and then they also presented a second type of machine as well. And really, when you get down to it, they're very comparable price-wise until you start adding all of the additional components on, like the stapler and the, hole punch and the fax component and all of that onto the machines. And with Toshiba, that's already included in that price. And we have been very pleased with their customer service as a whole, as the district, and very pleased with their machines. On the billing side, they've been easy to work with as well. So Jerome and I, after looking through those, really comparing them, would recommend that we continue the state contract. That's a difference. So normally we do this as an RFP. We don't have to because a lot of these are going on the state bid list at this point in time. So that's another positive, is it's one less RFP to put out every time. It's one that I always have to get lots of input from technology because it's a lot of language that I'm not really sure about. But they are on the state bid list, and we would like to continue with Toshiba through that state contract.
Can I ask the other vendor, what was the contract term?
They gave us numerous contract terms, but the comparable one, the same 5-year term, was very comparable price-wise to this one. After you added on all of the components that we need to the different machines, it would have been more expensive. Like when you just look at, like if you open up that bid on there, you can see like the price and it's like, oh, that's one, like I looked at it and even Jerome and we were like, wow, that's great. I mean, but then once you start adding on those components, it adds up at that point in time.
It's like a Legionnaire.
Yes, exactly.
So because I'm wondering, so the equipment that we currently have, we've had for 3 years or longer?
We've had it for 3 years.
And is it still really functional or it should be replaced?
So we are replacing so that's how these contracts work. As of July 1, we will have new machines. Well, we hope it's July 1. Obviously, there are sometimes some delays if we can't get all of the machines here on that time frame, but the hope is to get all of them here on July 1, and they will be new machines. There is a guarantee with this that if they, start breaking down constantly and they're just irreparable, that they will replace them with a new machine. That was a question I did ask when Jerome and I met with them, because my concern was going longer than the 3 years, because we did that when I first came in. We were on a longer contract, but it was not with Toshiba, and they were not Toshiba machines. And at the very end, it was like, we might as well have just not had copiers in the district because they were breaking down so often. I asked them up front and tried to make and it is guaranteed in there that they will replace them. So I think it just amounts to us staying on top of it. If we get to that 4th and 5th year and we notice a lot of breakdowns, really staying on top of the company and telling them we want them replaced.
Yeah.
Usually another company will come in and buy them out.
It just depends. So normally when they get to that 4th and 5th year, they're wanting their contract again. So a lot of the time they're going to give you a loaner machine until they can get yours fixed. And really, we don't own the machines. We're leasing them from them anyway. So the machines that we currently have in our building are not ours anyway. And as of July 1, they're definitely not ours. Toshiba would take them back regardless of who we go with.
Any further questions? If not, can I have a motion to approve, to enter into contract on July 1st for copier service with Toshiba through the NASPO contract?
Make that motion.
Mr. Montgomery makes a motion. May I have a second, please?
A second.
Ms. Franceschi, second. Roll call, sir.
District 1, Amber Franceschi.
Yes.
District 2, Larry Yeager.
Yes.
District 3, Billy Montgomery.
Yes.
District 4, Cliff Pruitt.
Yes.
District 5, Randy Phillips.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Emergency certified substitutes.
So every year, we need to ask for approval for the next school year in order to continue utilizing emergency certified substitutes in our district. So we've done this year after year.
Any questions? Probably not. Okay. If not, can I have a motion for approval?
Make it.
Mr. Montgomery makes a motion, can I have a second?
I'll second.
Mr. Pruitt, second, roll call.
District 1, Amber Franceschi.
Yes.
District 2, Larry Gaten. District 3, Billy Montgomery.
Yes.
District 4, Cliff Pruitt.
Yes.
District 5, Randy Phillips.
Yes. Okay, last one, athletics change order.
Suzanne's here from Ross Tarrant. If you wanted to explain what those 3 change orders are and anything else you had to say.
Yes, I certainly can. So we have 3 items that are wrapped up in a single change order. The first one is based on some piping, some drainage piping at the baseball dugout that had to be, the elevation had to be changed and reworked. So that was a cost to increase for doing that. The second one is at the soccer facility. The drainage of the concrete pad that is in front of the soccer concessions and where now the restrooms stand had a field drain in it that was not located on our surveys. And so when that pad was taken up, we had to relocate a new drainage pipe and drain to drain that area, and that was an increase in cost. Back at the very beginning of the project, there was Musco lighting poles that had to be, the electrical had to be refed to those because of the demolition of the existing, and that cost, although all the work is already done, had not been expressed to us that was an increase in cost, and it was. All of these items have been reviewed both by us and by all of our consultants, and so these prices are fair and the work was necessary. So the overall change order cost was $25,171.97.
The refeed of the Musco lighting poles, what poles are you talking about?
Those are the ones that were
On
the
the baseball field or softball field?
they were the existing ones at the softball field.
And so they were damaged during construction?
There was my understanding of it is that the conduit to feed the outfield lighting had to be reworked and placed in a different place. And so that it wasn't a damaged issue, it was sort of a found condition.
The location wasn't known prior to.
I think, yes, that the location, once it was found, when the dugouts were demolished that were existing, the location was not where they had been anticipated, and had to be refed.
Okay. And the one for the baseball pipe, dugout piping, what,
That was an oversight on the drawings of the elevation levels. There's a change in elevation, and it didn't get transferred to the pipe intake and outflow correctly. And so there was
so whose fault is that?
well, it was an oversight in our drawings, but the value of it is still, if it had been in the drawings, this cost would have been in the original bid. So it's
So did they have to come back and do extra work?
no, they did not have to do extra work. They had to add piping.
So they didn't have to tear out concrete or
No.
anything like that? It was
No.
actually while they were doing construction?
Yes, it's not a rework, it's
Mistake on the drafting.
it was a mistake on the draft.
Right.
So it required what?
so
like
is that our
additional
fault?
materials,
Yes.
additional man hours? Like what?
Yes.
I'm just trying to understand.
Yes,
So
it
that-
was additional, yes to both. Additional man hours, additional materials.
So when you say elevation, you mean the piping was not at the correct elevation, or like the elevation had to be lowered or raised?
The piping, where it was, so this is piping for storm drainage.
Yeah.
And it was, the way it was drawn, it was going to be day-lit, basically. It was going to come out and be visible, and so then there was additional piping that had to be added to lower that in a different kind of drain to allow it to drain to the lower elevation of the plaza.
So without it, it would have flooded the field. Is that?
Without this change, the pipe would have been visible and exposed. So with the change, it's underground where it should be. So there wasn't, it was being drained.
So it wasn't a
It was-
functional, it was more of a cosmetic?
It was, yes. And technically, the way it was being the way that the pipe was being outflow, off at the end where the water comes out, had to be changed because of the different elevation. And that was part of the additional material.
Can I go back and ask about the electrical conduit in this box?
Yes.
I'm not a construction guy, I know enough to get out of the way. But I guess my question is, was this visible? I mean, how did it get damaged? And I guess my question is, they did the damage.
It wasn't damaged, it was found to be a different situation
Okay.
than what was planned.
Was it more of a code thing?
The box was in a different location than what they thought it was going to be, so they ran into it. They ran into it whenever they went to doing the dugout, right? On one of the dugouts, that's the way I understood you, that apparently the piping was in a different direction than you all thought, and you ran into it, or you found it. I won't say you ran into it.
Right, I don't think it was
You found
damaged.
it as you
Yeah,
excavated.
So you had to so was it reroute?
it was rerouted,
Okay.
yes.
I misunderstood, I thought it was damaged somehow.
And I may have said that, I'm sorry.
I understand.
It was a found condition, but it had to be rerouted.
I understand that, and I don't
Why
understand.
did it need to be rerouted?
Because it was not located on the survey information that we had, it was not located where.
So
It was
in
found
the
in
way
a
of
different
what?
way.
I'm just trying to understand it fully.
Yeah.
Its current location was in the way of, why did it need to be relocated? Without hoping to understand.
Well, it was, I think that it was in the way of the new location for the baseball field. It had to be reworked.
The electricians explained to me, and correct me if I'm wrong,
Yeah.
that the lighting housing all the circuit breakers or whatever used to be behind the home plate, you know, where they had the
Press box.
press box on the first floor.
This is
That
something.
wire ran out to the Musco lightings out on the left and right side of first and third base.
To the
When they went to dig
quasi
that
box.
up, yes, the quasi box. So when they went to dig that up, they weren't in the right spot that they thought they were somewhere else. But anyways, when they found them, then they also found out that the conduit going to those Musco lightings were underneath where the footers were going to be poured for the new dugouts, because the dugouts were moved out towards the outfield. So they had to reroute them around the new footers for the dugouts and tie them to the poles. And it sounds like they pulled new wire all the way around the outfield. Is that correct? I don't know, but if so, if not, that the wires were already connected to the other two in the outfield. But it's all about rerouting because of the dugouts being moved and the footers being poured, and that wasn't far enough underneath the footers. So they rerouted.
You explained it much better.
Okay, that's just.
That one I can understand, the other one I'm not real sure.
All right.
There also was a change order, the fourth thing on there wasn't numbered 4, but a $1,600 credit for the soccer lift station for the pump.
Any further discussion or questions?
So does the soccer fix the issue with the concrete drain towards the building?
No, it does not. That is being worked on.
Okay.
But that's a different issue.
That'll be an additional change order.
We will have to see how that needs to be resolved. I don't anticipate it being a change order.
Well, I'm firing a lot of questions at you, I'm sorry.
No, not at all. I apologize that if I have not been able to answer to the fullest.
If no further questions, can I get a motion for approval?
I'll make a motion.
Mr. Pruitt makes a motion. Can I have a second?
I'll make a second.
Okay. Mrs. Francesca seconds. Roll call, sir.
District 1, Amber Franceschi.
Yes.
District 2, Larry Yeager.
Abstain.
District 3, Billy Montgomery.
Yes.
District 4, Cliff Pruitt.
Yes.
District 5, Randy Phillips.
Yes. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Can I have a motion to enter into executive session pursuant to KRS 61.810-1F?
I'll make a motion.
Mr. Pruitt, motion. Can I have a second, please?
Second.
Mr. Montgomery, second. All in favor? Okay, can I get a motion to exit executive session, please?
Make that motion.
Mr. Montgomery makes a motion, can I have a second?
Second.
Mr. Pruitt, second, all in favor? No action related to the executive session, so if no other business,
Before we adjourn,
Yes, sir.
we'll have a working session the day before the next regular scheduled board meeting. So that'll be 5:30 here, that'll be on Monday, May 14th, or 15th.
okay, thank you, sir. Appreciate that. No further business, can I have a motion for adjournment?
Motion.
Make that, Billy.
I did.
Mr. Montgomery with a motion, can I have a second?
I'll second.
Ms. Franceschi, second, all in favor? Meeting adjourned, thank you.